Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to the TSW Network channel. I'm DC Constant, founder of the Successful Wives Network, and we're here to inspire, encourage, and equip women to thrive in marriage, business, and in life. So if you're a wife, a future wife, or simply a woman on a mission, you're in the right place. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing to this channel. Thank you to those who have supported our channel via your donations. We appreciate you. Now let's get into it. Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of Man Thought Monday. I'm your host, DC Constant, with my today's co host, Johnny J.D. Dent Jr. So, guys, today we are talking about therapy and Black men. Is this still a taboo? Hey, what's up, JD? How you doing?
DC, thank you once again for allowing me to use your platform to just to get a word in
Oh, absolutely.
edgewise.
Absolutely. We always have fun when you come,
Yeah,
JD. So, Black men and therapy. So, our generation coming up, we were always told, be it Black men or Black women, listen, Black folks, period. That's not for us. That's for the crazy people. We not crazy. We don't need therapy. That was grinded in our DNA. However, we are in a different dispensation and time. Tell me what's your thoughts on tell me your thoughts on historically about therapy being considered for Black men particularly. Like, do you feel that stigma is more cultural, generational, or personal?
I think it's more. I think it's more gendered. Gender. It has more gender specifics associated with it. And what I mean by that is, we have to look at. If I looked at the cultural context, mental health overall has a stigma. The ideal is in a shouting match, usually with another person, something is wrong with you. You need to go to counseling. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
the way you thinking is messed up. Now they say you need therapy, but they say you need counseling. And so the idea was, think about what they call the doctors or the people who are assisting with mental health shrink, right?
Right,
Who
right.
wants their mind shrunken? Think about that. You're gonna shrink your head. The images that come to mind immediately is that highly educated European professor or doctor is standing over me with a clipboard, and I'm laying on the couch, and he's basically telling me how to unravel my mind. Right?
Right.
Shocking, right?
Shocking.
Yeah, that's it's scary. Somebody in my head telling me how I'm not thinking right and how I should be thinking another way. Um, and the fact that we got cultural things that experiments that we had the Tuskegee experiment and so many other things that keep us away from just running towards any direction of mental health. The good
Yes.
thing is that therapists now we got so many ways to do therapy now. We got more broader branches. We have people that are life coaches that don't have to have mental health degrees or anything like that, just to kind of walk you through some things. Um,
Yes.
Not to plug or to agree or disagree, but Ayana Vazant, she's a Yoruba priestess. She just helps people kind of sort through
Mhm.
their issues. So we got so many ways now to assist people as far as on the mental health side. It's phenomenal. But as far as men, it boils down to men needing help. We do not like, we are the the one species on Earth, single cell organisms, who just simply say, I don't need all that. I'll
Yeah,
figure it out. I'll get it together.
yeah.
I know what I'm doing. I don't need no other man or woman to
Telling
tell
me
me
about me,
about me. Oh,
about me.
the other
You
part
don't
is,
know, hey
oh,
JB, you don't know me. You don't
right.
know me.
You don't know what I've been through. Right? Oh, that part. And I don't need nobody just taking my money, sitting there just listening to me and taking my money. I could do that. I could stay home and still keep that money. It goes directly into our way of providing. You're gonna snatch some money for it because it costs. It
Yeah.
don't cost a lot. There are people who do, scale with you, and there are
Mhm.
people who actually some people offer these groups free. But again, mental health has so many branches. There are people doing yoga, Pilates. There are people who have just grief support groups who come together just to share their stories.
Yeah.
But we are not the biggest proponents of somebody helping us. You'll grab we you'll grab that bag, those 4 bags, right? Don't worry,
Yeah.
baby. I'll take them upstairs and try to take them all into the house all yourself, um, and the
Yeah.
bag is splitting open and stuff falling down the stairs. But then you do that in your 20s, in your 50s, you like, I grabbed one with you. I mean, why you get all this stuff anyway, right? Because I got
I
you
feel
now.
attacked. I feel attacked.
Ain't nobody tell you to buy all this stuff, right?
Right.
But again, it cuts right into the very core of us being men. We are designed and expected to play through injury.
Mm.
And now we have this culture that when a man tell you, no, I'm hurt, I'm really hurt, they're like, nah, he just playing, he faking. Uh,
Man, I hate
another groin injury, huh? Yeah, must be nice, right? But we did the same thing to women in our own episodes of abuse where we said, I mean, you gotta act like that. You on your cycle again, huh? That's
mm,
that that insensitivity, or I don't believe in post, partum after women getting pregnant, and she ain't got to act like that. Well, you didn't have this human being just come through your body,
hmm.
but we thought you can get out, girl. That ain't nothing. You ain't how long did doctor tell you got to be out of work anyway, right? Um,
Oh,
it is taboo,
it,
and nowadays, for some unethical people, it is a way to just snatch your mate right from under you.
what
I'm
you mean?
surprised. Like men are not as resistant as they used to be. It's the women now, like, why you gotta go see her? I don't want to see that therapist. I didn't like the way she was looking at you, right? Because what's supposed to happen? Oh, DC, you married 30 years, you happily married. So you locked in, you okay. The package is submitted. Y'all gonna ride this out. Oh no,
I'm
now
like, what? That sounds so silly to me. What?
Now let's look at the composition of our people that's in the workforce that are presenting themselves as therapists, right?
Okay.
Okay. Um, hold on.
Okay.
All
I'm like,
right.
I'm like, who don't want their man,
I
they
gotta get
husband to get help? But because the
you.
therapist cute.
Who am I? All right, watch this. Who am I going to see? Right
Okay.
in the United States, the majority of the workforce of women, of therapists, are women, and the numbers are 70 to 76% of the workforce, while men constitute approximately 24 to 30%. So it's more likely that if I decide as a male to go into therapy, I'm going to see a woman, right?
Okay.
The hope is that I am in front of a whole individual. a whole individual who understands the discipline of therapy. They always say a good therapist will practice the field. A great therapist will see another therapist and practice in the field.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna work through my issues while I'm assisting you because sometimes you got transference and countertransference. And I'm going to absorb some of them issues. Well, what happens is all day in and day out, more than likely, the man is going to talk about his current state being being the result of something that he's going through, an issue, a crisis, an episode, and it has to do with the person they're attached to, which is why therapists try to say, listen, we don't have Judy in this session with us. This is me and you, and I want to know about you. That's what
Okay.
a great therapist would do. Kind of continue to guide the conversation and keep me focused on the most important person that's in the room. You're here, Judy is not here with you. I need to talk to you. And so
Okay.
what happens is you're supposed to form a therapeutic bond. Well, being human, some things form more than a therapeutic bond. Sometimes the gal say, you know what, well, if I had somebody like you, then I I wouldn't even have to come here.
But that's an illusion because therapists, the female therapist as a therapist, you don't know her as relationship. You know what I mean? Like, let's just give her a name. Therapist Keisha, but you don't know relationship Keisha. You know what I mean? It's always
There.
easy to look at. It's always, to me, I just feel like that's more of an illusion, and it's the trick of the enemy. And
Okay.
you're going to a therapist. Think about it. You're going to a therapist, you're in pain, you're supposed to be working out your marriage or with your partner. And of course, everything is going everybody else and what they're saying to your ears is gonna look beautiful and sound good, but it's an illusion because trust me, that therapist, if she's married, her husband may have, they might got some stuff going on too. So everybody has something that they are working on until the day we die.
Should
So
be.
that's a trick. And a good therapist will recognize that transference and will stop and assign them to somebody else or remove themselves, right? Or am
Okay.
I being too
So
green?
so DC, no, no, you own it. Um,
Okay.
um, we drink to see the illusion.
Mm.
We smoke weed to see the illusion. Okay. We hey, listen, we again. I mean, the idea is for me to just take my meds, go to the pharmacy, get my meds, and I should be all
Do you
right.
want to be healed? Do you want to be
But
helped? Do you want to be
but
helped?
but
You want to be healed.
I don't like how it makes me feel. Okay.
But
So
don't you want to be helped though? That's why we at the therapist. With therapist Keisha. We're not there for anything else. We're there to get help.
listen, therapy Keisha is dressing nice. I really hadn't noticed her before. And the another part is how did I get into this session, right? If it was court mandated, I'm always gonna have an issue with it. You forced me into it. If it came through her nagging me, something is wrong with this other wrong. I'm gonna have opposition to it. You want them people to say I'm crazy, right? But let's go back a little bit because I like what you said about the difference between therapist Keisha and regular Keisha. We're all flawed individuals. When we get healed at a certain point, we present healing to other people. That's actually gospel. That's how we should do it. But was Delilah a therapist?
Clearly, she was not.
Well, what did she do?
Well, I guess well define
She
therapy.
Delilah got in his head. That's all she wanted to know. I see you out here killing Philistines. And I don't care about none of that. What big strong man such that you are? What is the source of your strength? How
So,
you doing this? And then when she found out it had to do with his head, his hair, right?
mhm.
Now you would think that it seemed like every time I tell you something, the Philistines upon us. You would just think, right? that, that it would, you know what? I notice we keep going through this every time I tell you something. But you're gonna keep talking to me. Because there's something about me that makes me relate to you or at least honor this safe space that I'm in. Men have to go into therapy with realistic expectations. Not that I'm gonna be pronounced crazy, but that I will be presented with healing. And men don't do that. Like some men.
Okay.
Um, we always should be communicating to others, whether it's physically, spiritually, emotionally, even economically. Some of us don't like to talk to people about our finances. Well, I mean, man, I either got the money or I don't. Yes, but those resources have to have a steward. They need stewardship. Well, what does that mean? I need help again. I think I shared with you off air the story of my whole house being flooded almost, right?
Mhm.
Out of frustration, just fixing this one thing. Well, I'm gonna go on and fix it. It's a quick fix. It wasn't a quick fix when I looked at it.
Yeah.
And men have to have realistic expectations. I cannot fix this. You don't fix marriage, you manage marriage. Both you co-steward.
Mhm.
Instead of me actually doing this, it should be more of a seesaw, right? Weight distribution, right? Resource distribution. That's how you go through marriage. A false abomination, a
Mhm.
false balance is an abomination to the Lord, right? But balance, balance. Co-parties going through this existing together because we're presenting something. Marriages are offering to God and also to the people. Here's, and that's why when people do the do's and don'ts, I'm like, some of them do's and don'ts look like do's for other people, and just definitely not for you. But but again, it goes back to our core. We are not designed to ask for help. In fact, shocker, God had to tell us we needed help.
Yes. Yeah.
He feeling good, animals grazing, and he just, oh man, this is beautiful. And God's like, okay, he need help, and he don't even know it.
Yeah. So let's talk about the man that does. Let's talk about, because there are men out there, because I don't want to generalize
Right,
every man
an
that
entire population. Right.
right, that they just don't, because the media portrays a lot of propaganda. There are men out there that know that they need help. They understand the stigma, and then if you're a black man, the community stigma. But I personally think that's changing. I think that's changing from how we came up in the 70s and the 80s, because you have a lot of different black men who, a couple that I follow on social media that talks about black mental health. You have a lot of different black mental health Facebook groups that I actually joined too for men, just to even get a better understanding. So I believe that is changing. So I want to talk about the man that understands that mental health, going to see a therapist is a healthy thing. It's healthy. It doesn't have to be a stigma. It's a healthy thing. So what does that look like, going to a therapist with your thought process on, you know what, I really need help with this issue. You ain't attracted to therapist Keisha. You actually going, and it's a healthy thing. So what does that look like for our community, men that have that mindset? You know what? I'll go and talk to somebody.
Yeah.
What does that look like, and how that can play out to help the family and our communities?
Oh wow. So the more the person does it in the right context, that person leaves that therapy session. Usually they give you some form of follow up, or we say homework, but some form of follow up so that you can work on something for the next session. And also there's however you got to that session, whether it's walking, riding a bike, on a bus, driving, however
Mhm.
you got to that session, you got to take that same length of time to return back home. So you're thinking about all the stuff that you and the therapist discussed. Because again, you don't control, we don't control any other person.
But ourselves.
That's it.
That's
We have absolutely no control over another person. You don't believe me, had children. You'd be like, oh, no, we are never in control of another person. We weren't born that way. We're not wired that way.
mhm.
And that's why the therapist makes an attempt to share that with us. That your response to this environment, you have to have another response because it's not healthy to the environment or to you. So you go back into that environment, you work on the things that the therapist has given you. You should start seeing growth if you stay in that relationship. The therapist did not have to tell you, oh, you need to leave that alone. You're going to tell yourself, I need to leave it alone. Or you're going to tell yourself, I
Yes.
need to stay because you'll start experiencing growth.
Yeah.
You'll start experiencing growth. But back to
Absolutely.
the generation thing that you talked about. Remember, we come from the generation of the yellow bus, right?
Mhm.
Or the room. Short yellow bus, we would see that bus, or we would see people in that room in the school, and we knew why they were there, right?
Yep. Right.
And so, children being children, they tease those children, right? Tease them. Well, now society took that away and put us all on the same bus. The same bus.
Mhm.
That child is no longer getting picked on. That child is the one they waiting on them to do something so they can put the video up and get it for content because it's getting more likes on my page. We clicking views on it.
Mhm.
Um, so again, nobody wants to go through that challenge of being ridiculed. And I think when you I always say that healing is just as painful as going through the trauma itself sometimes because you gotta express what happened to you during the trauma. And a lot of people don't want to go down those dark roads and those dark alleys. They just want to present them as is and say to themselves, "Well, I'm okay now. I got over that. The easy cop out. I forgave them. Okay, you forgave them, but the content of what they did is still affecting you.
The residue
The
is still
residue,
affecting you.
yes, the
Yes.
residue, yes, still affecting you. And
Yeah.
it's obvious because I'm not the first person that told you this. But you want to be dismissive and dismiss all them people who told you before. Like, listen, you probably need to. I like the way it's presented now. You probably need to see someone else. And I
Mhm.
always say, I have no power to heal. None. If we close, I have no power to heal. None. If you're at a distance, oh yeah, we can get some work in. We can really help you. You don't believe me? Scratch yourself. Then ask Elder Constance to scratch you in the same place.
Mhm.
Much different feeling.
Yeah.
Much different feeling. Our power to heal is just we're limited to do temporal things, but we can't do things that have longevity to ourselves. Some people, um, and men are challenged by the setup of therapy because
In what way?
you
In
don't walk into a therapist's office and he got or she got the Browns paraphernalia up, and the person that got this Scarface, the movie posters and all that. You walk in, it's usually quiet, it's serene. A lot of them put the artificial brook with the water running over it in it. You might hear some music, some classical music or something like that. You're not hearing the rah-rah music that's getting you motivated to do anything about anything. A lot of people fall asleep, and then they'll politely wake you up and say, "Okay, until next session." Um,
What?
yeah,
So
yeah,
should they walk in and hear the sports channel kind of low, or
because I'm setting the atmosphere. The idea is to set an atmosphere where you communicate with me.
eh,
That's peaceful. That's safe.
yes.
Well, what makes men safe? Why would you go to a bar and discuss with other men who are really just there to compete with you on some level anyway?
Mm.
Why would you go into that bar and discuss what's going on with you and your partner to that group of guys who are there in society to compete with you in some way, versus going home and talking to the person who's presenting, who I'm having a conflict with? Why
Mm.
would you do that? Because I'm not safe at home. I'm not safe. I'm not safe. And they're gonna take you. I always say it this way: either we have an outlook or we have outlets. Outlets, dangerous.
Dangerous.
Outlook, I'm seeing the vision. I'm gonna keep on going. I'm gonna keep going. But outlets, they carry electricity, don't they?
They do.
Electricity is very powerful if it's not grounded.
This
A
is true.
bad time to show up is when some other woman is trying to talk to your spouse. That's the bad time to show up, because why didn't you just communicate with him? So therapy is very challenging to men, because we need that safe space. You see
Uh,
some of them, you see like six guys sitting in the garage together. You'll
that's a
see,
safe space.
think about it. Teenagers, male, you don't see females hanging on corners. Those are males. They probably aren't doing anything, but they are relating to each other in some kind of way, getting information back and forth. They're socializing. Look at where we tend to, if if he's on the corner, oh, he out there with them, booing them, they right up the street. That's okay for you? It's more than just I'm hanging with these guys. Hanging. Oh, he hanging with them guys again. Iron sharpen iron. Men sharpen men. Women sharpen women.
So how can no everything I agree with what you're saying. And I want to go back to when you just said men need a safe space because I talk about that all the time.
Mhm.
And safe space with therapy. So let's say the man he goes to therapy, he's in a safe space, he's applying the tools because like you said, it's not going to happen overnight, but you should see some type of growth.
Yes.
My thing is the women in these men's lives, whether it's your girlfriend or your wife, soon to be whomever, you guys, and I'm speaking to the women now, you need to get a man grace to grow because I'm
Mhm.
always seeing men getting bashed. You need to go to therapy. You need to heal. Your mama messed you up. Your last wife, your last whomever messed you up. Like, we don't have no issues. So it's like, if
That's
he
right.
takes that step, number one, please understand that's a huge, it's a very huge, vulnerable step for him to do that. But then
Yes.
as he's going through this process, give them grace to grow. We really don't give people grace to grow. Um, we're so easy to toss and throw people away, but people have to be able to implement what they learn. And just because you don't have that issue that he may have, so what? Is something wrong with you too? It's an area in your life because God always continues to pull layers off of us. So, sis, there's an area in your life, okay, that God is dealing with you with that you need to let some stuff go. But it's always easy to deflect on
Mhm. Mhm.
somebody else's mess up, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
if your loved one as a male is going to therapy, that's to be applauded because that's very huge.
Mhm.
This is a man that's saying, I need to talk to somebody. I need to, and if therapy is a safe space for him, make sure it's still a safe space for him when he come home.
Oh
Why
yeah.
undercut the work? Make
Yeah.
sure it's still a safe space. Don't let it be because I know a lot of men feel like I'm damn if I do, I damn if I don't.
Yeah.
Don't have that type of environment or atmosphere in the home. Don't do
Yes.
that. Because
Yes.
women can't do that. Don't do that. That is very immature. It's very, very immature. So I just had to say that because I believe more men would like to talk to somebody, but it's like who I'm gonna talk to.
DC, remember Snow White in the seven drawers? Okay.
Yeah,
Seven drawers, and not one of them drawers kissed her. Okay. They went through her with everything she went through. And now she's laying here dead, or in some kind of state.
right.
And in order to heal this woman, a guy from a faraway kingdom got to ride up on a horse. He ain't put no time in, no commitment in. He ain't done nothing. He just go down and mwah, and she jump on the back of the horse. Okay. Now, the drawers was a little rough looking. I ain't gonna lie. But again, you couldn't see nothing in them to where
Mm,
one of them could have presented the same kiss. And then we got a different story, right? But in her mind, she instantly said, "Oh no, something wrong with them, that group. So I'm gonna just wait for this stranger to show up if I get into anything." And that's what we had to stop doing too. Looking for a
mm,
better option, because everything in this society, if it can be fixed on some kind of way to make it better, or to provide it with maintenance or something so that it can be a better product, right?
mm. Right.
You are not going to get a better product than a human. A human being who again, as we always discuss, came with flaws. Came with flaws. There are some things that's clearly out of bounds. Abuse, physical, mental, any kind. But at the same time, and this stuff is actually listed as domestic violence,
Mhm.
financial domestic violence.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
did you yell? Well, yeah, yeah. Oh no, you can't do no yelling. No, no, no. She felt afraid. Well, I felt afraid. That's why I was yelling. I mean, what you mean?
Oh,
Right?
you a man. You can't be afraid. Wow. Yeah.
You're asking the person, you're telling the person there's a problem, and usually it's a hard exchange. Yelling at, whether she's yelling at the top of her lungs or vice versa. And so he said, I'm gonna go and get some help. Maybe I do drink too much. Maybe I am out there too much. Maybe I'm a workaholic, which very few women bring that up. There are a lot of guys who are workaholics. They just replace the alcohol with work or something else. Well, you at work too much. Well, you're not home enough. Well, you home too much. Well, you ain't got no guys you be around. You upset at me and my girls how we hang out, but you ain't got no guys. Well, it's a reason I done cleaned up the whole house. It's a reason I cooked today. It's a reason I made sure the children were put to bed early. It's a reason that I made sure when you got home there was nothing else for you to do. I want to be with you. No, 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 I'm tired. Again, there's so much, there's so many things we can do that we can patch marriages up, but we're really just asking people to go a little longer. You see symptoms of divorce early, real early, but we're asking people to go longer. So it's, well, you get past a year, you ain't really married till you get past a year. Or then you get the 7 year itch, or 5 years to tell the tape, will tell the tale. 8 years will tell something else. 20 years. Well, if y'all keep going, 30 more years, y'all have the gold standard.
But that's the world system. That's not
It
God.
is.
That's the world system. That culture, that should not be kingdom culture. I'm in a covenant, not a contract. So
Yeah, yeah,
when we're talking about God system, That's what the world say. They say the 7 year itch and all that other stuff. And it amazes me how many folks that profess Christ buy into that propaganda. I'm like, no, what is God saying about you and your marriage? You don't need to look at somebody else's. What is he saying about you and yours?
Yes.
Mind the
And
business. Mind the business that bless you, that bless you.
can we just have a day-to-day understanding?
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
we just understand that and get those things out the way? But I think it's like you said earlier, it's commendable for a person to choose therapy because you're in a non-judgmental atmosphere. The person uh, uh, shouldn't be partial, right? Should be objective, not subjective,
Mm-hmm.
and the person has to hear you out and try to make sense of nonsense.
Yeah.
Because what we find, especially when you start committing to the couple side of it, well, now we both gonna go to counseling, we both gonna go to therapy. You find out they're really saying the same things,
In a different way.
just in a different way.
In a different way, and they not understanding. And that's a good thing too, to go to counseling, because that person is not invested. Like I definitely don't believe in telling your family your business. Nobody in my family can tell you any of my marital business in the last 30 years. Not even my mama. My mom,
Right.
like, I don't know. She's never called me, not one time, ever called my
Do,
mother.
do you know they don't accept that when you say, "Hey, how's things with you and him?" They're fine. They don't
Fine.
accept that.
They can't accept it because,
TV telling them, no, they just hiding their stuff. No, they just keep their
and
ass in
you
a
know
good
what I say?
place.
The family members that say that, stop projecting.
Yeah.
Go deal with your go deal with your marriage. But it's good for couples to go together, because you hear each other differently, and you have a person that don't know you. You know what I mean? And they can be more objective. So even when you go as a couple, go to see things about yourself, your blind spots that you didn't see. So you're gonna go. You should go to therapy together as a couple to resolve the issue, not going to therapy and be like, "Hey, therapist Johnny, he, or he's
Mhm.
saying she." That's not what therapy is for. It's not. That's not what that is for. So you want to go so you can resolve an issue.
And I recommend it as much as possible. I don't say okay because you completed that 8 week program, you got the certificate, y'all healed. I
There's
would
nothing
say
wrong
when
with
you
ongoing therapy, even if
yeah,
something major isn't going on.
yeah, yeah,
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with check-ins, preventive maintenance.
yeah. PRN, as needed, right?
Yeah, hey, I love that. Absolutely.
Keep, and it don't necessarily have to be the same person, but at least the person that's been in front of you the most sees the patterns, sees the areas where you challenge that, sees where you're growing, where you're not growing, and can hold both parties accountable. And if
Yes.
you can't be in front of not only a safe space, but someone who can have you told, no, you way off with that. You way off with that. You went too far with that. No, no. What I mean, are you saying that? See, what we do is when the person disagrees, we'll say, if it's a man, we'll say, "You trying to holler at my woman? I could just tell you just trying to side with her." Or vice versa. The same thing happens. We pick disqualifiers to put in front of this person. I always say, what about the equity we built before we got here?
Mm-hmm.
We got to watch our word usage. You've never done anything for me. Come on. You see, you've been in a relationship, you've been in this marriage 30 years. He
Right.
never did nothing. So
Right.
you're discounting all the years that he did do stuff for you because of this one time he said no.
Right.
Come on, never.
And then
Always.
why am I staying in a 25, 30 year marriage if he's never done anything? Because you have wives that say that. I'm like, so why are you still there?
Yeah.
Clearly you're getting something out of it, even if you feel like it's bad. Is it because you don't have to work? Is it because he's paying all the bill? Is it because the house paid off? Like, what are you getting out of that? Because that doesn't sound right to me.
And I look at
That's not a
models.
flex. That's not a flex to be like, yeah, I've been married. 25 years or 30 years and he's never done nothing and you bashing your husband. It's not a flex when wives do that. You really make yourself look foolish because it's like, well, then why are you still staying there? That I'm a logical thinker. I'm not an emotional thinker. You know,
Good.
I'm not an emotional thinker with my vajayjay. I say that all the time because that's how most women are. I mean, I'm just a logical thinker. Like, okay, so why are you still there? So clearly you are getting some type of benefit for staying there, but you gonna complain. So you complaining for 25 years?
Well,
Yes, you wasted your time for 25 years.
well,
It
you know he
doesn't
gonna
make
turn
sense to
into a
me.
prince, right?
Huh?
He kissing him, he gonna turn into a prince, right?
Okay, so then if you're delusional, then just say that. But don't blame him for you staying for 25 years. Because if he don't have a gun in your head, you could have walked away from that. You didn't have to waste your time for 25 years. So you're gonna stay for 25 years, talk bad about him, and you should have left. So what is it
And
saying more about you? And same with a man. Men, unfortunately, they get verbally abused. We don't talk about this much in marriages, and your husband, I mean, your wife disrespects you. You don't have to put up with that. You don't have to stay with her for years and put up with that abuse either.
then we bring in children who are watching and observing this model of behavior because we model behavior, right?
Yeah.
We see this behavior, we're like, oh, that's how they handle that. And before you know it, your child is in something that mirrors what you went through because their interpretation of what you went through. Not because of the truth, not because you share with them how it actually should be, but because they was like, okay, wow, mama don't do nothing when he hit her. Oh, she love him. Wow, they love each other, they back together. Or running that man down, running him down, over talking, overpowering. That's a form of overpowering a person too. The tongue is a very strong muscle, very strong.
And
Um,
then and then you raise a whole nother generation that needs therapy. So unfortunately, a whole nother generation that's sitting on somebody's couch.
oh
So
yeah.
I want to switch gears here, still about therapy, but how do you feel about the church in therapy? And can they work together? Because I'm a huge believer that you can have Jesus and a therapist too, but some people don't. So when you're talking about the man, as you were saying earlier, I'm just going to talk to my boys, or I might just talk to my pastor, or I might just talk to this person. What and you being a chaplain, how do you feel about that? The church and therapy? Because back in the day, if you went to a therapist, you got called crazy. You got called you didn't have faith in God. You know, where's your faith? Where's your faith? Um, you were basically called not being a believer because how dare you go to a psychologist? That's what we were saying back in the day, back in the 80s. What's your thoughts on
So
that?
unfortunately, and I don't want to pick on, God's bride, but she's outdated. She's outdated. Her attire is outdated. The thought process is outdated. We we cannot look for a person to take communion and believe that it's going to cure their mental health.
Thank you.
We can't pray some of these mental health issues away, these mental health issues away, and believe that people are going to be solved just through prayer. Prayer is a connection between you and your higher being, and believing that the higher being can intervene in some way, or support, or give you ways to cope, or either strengthen and grow you in some way. But
Mhm.
you're asking for supernatural intervention for a situation that can be solved at this level. You're asking God, you praying to God for rain. Well, I mean, in Seattle it looked good because it's raining all the time. But what if you're in the desert? How do you know when this God has intervened? So the church is against mental health because we believe we can just lay hands on a person and they're going to change and be healed. And probably that has happened. It just doesn't happen enough with enough consistency. enough consistency.
Yeah, I remember being in church. This was years ago, and this woman fell out, and she was shaking, and they threw the white sheet over,
Mm-hmm.
and they started speaking in tongues over her, and I knew that wasn't the Holy Spirit just with my clinical background. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, somebody need to call 911. And they let her lay there and shake for a good 3 minutes. I'm like, she's having a seizure. She
Mm-hmm.
was having a seizure. And it kind of hit folks a little later, but I mean, the lady was okay, but that's, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, she was having a seizure. And I'm just saying that to say, you sometimes some church that's how it was when we were coming up. I'm not sure how churches are more equipped now to
Mm-hmm.
recognize those type of things, that that's not the Holy Spirit and that was something physical. Then you have the mental, everything isn't demonic, everything isn't the devil, because even the scripture says that God made the deaf and dumb. So people that are born with different type of chemical imbalances through no fault of their own, you can't be like throwing oil on them talking about come out spirit. Like they were born with a chemical imbalance, and it could be slow in speech or some type of physical disability. So yeah, so for me, I don't know. I would hope churches are more equipped with understanding mental health, understanding, people have mental breakdowns, that it happens. And it's not because they don't have faith in God or their faith isn't all the way up here. Life be lifing, and people go through things. I saw, I had a family member that had a breakdown. And I just remember this in the 80s so clear. And they were just told they didn't have enough faith. And my heart just broke. It's like this is not about somebody not having enough faith. This is not that. Everybody is different. I would yeah, it's just I don't know. It hurts me this day to even think about it. So that's why I was just wondering with the whole church and therapy and the wholeness, the mental of it. Because God created people to help other people.
Yes. And we're looking at the word to solve. This solves all problems. This our instruments of hope will solve all problems. And if it does, instead of looking at it like we should preach wholeness, because there was a man in the book of Mark who was filled with demons, possessed, living in the tombs. Why
Mm-hmm.
wasn't he around the people? All these godly people around, and they had to take a boat to get to him. They're like, no, throw him on there. And that used to be the way of treating mental health, the ones that we couldn't solve in the church.
Yep.
They just
Yeah.
lock them in a room, lock them away. They put her in the crazy house. And she was in the crazy house, or he was in the crazy house, as they call it, unfortunately, for the rest of their lives until a doctor said, you're healed now. Well, who's the doctor to tell somebody they healed? Wait a minute, you've been giving them two pills to lay down and two pills to wake up, and then you want to talk to them. How you feel now? Well, I feel like I'm still the president of the United States. Okay, you're still here. You're gonna be here. Because that doctor or that professional had to take accountability to get you released. The government came in and says we need to get rid of these institutions, put them on the street, and start medicating them through society. There are more people that come back from the dead in hospital rooms than they do from the grave. And they'll tell you, they say I was dead 10 minutes. They say
Yep.
I was dead 15 minutes. I'm here
Yep.
today. And they were pronounced clinically dead. They coming back. We have to invite more resources in. God didn't give us these resources just for us to overlook them. So whether it's biology, science, technology, we have to become a smarter steward of the resources that we have instead of just saying we're gonna lay hands on people and that's gonna be the change. That can
Yeah.
that can assist in the development of change, but you need supportive systems to help people to become better. I'm not the person that will sit there and tell a mechanic, well, no, this is what you should be doing. right? I don't Google what the mechanic said. I don't Google what the plumber said. If I do that, I'm looking for a better price. Sometimes you have to pay the price. It costs what it costs, especially when we're talking about our emotional health and healing.
Yeah,
Costs
absolutely.
what it costs. And again, you'll see it because it'll work out better in that your relationship, and it'll work out better as far as with your children, your interaction at work. It's ongoing professional development. It's ongoing healthy development so you can become better to the people that you serve. And you smile more, you sleep better.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you in your currently in your experience, do you see the church moving in that direction with more getting involved in their local community with mental health? And what I mean by that, like maybe partnering with a local clinic in their communities, like just getting to know and have resources so they can send somebody, send people in their church somewhere, like have a resource, some type of resource center in their church, connect with some therapists, licensed therapists. There's Christian licensed therapists out there.
Yes. So
Like, I don't think that's a bad thing.
one of the things that I loved about the church that I'm a part of now is that you when you go put your coat in the coat room, you walk past the office of a licensed mental health professional.
Oh, that's awesome.
As
That's,
soon as that door open, you go put your coat up, you know that person is there. They are not playing. They're not playing because how can we truly judge someone when we don't know all components of how they came together?
come on, when we don't know their genesis.
No. And that's why God waits for people to die and then to judge. It's like I'm gonna get the whole story. I'm gonna find out all the intrinsicity inch. I'm gonna find out everything that's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna make my judgment. But to see that when I first went to this church,
I
I
know it blew you away.
I heard the praise and worship coming in, but when I went to put that code up and I saw that office, I said, okay, we getting ready to do some real work here. We getting ready to do some real work here. So we got to stop running from mental health. We have to stop punishing people who make those steps in that journey to continue to work on their minds. Because the mind is usually the last place we look for brilliance. It's the last place.
Mm-hmm.
And men are performance based. And when we can no longer perform, we get penalized. And that's unfortunate because we're human. You're asking us to get at least 8 hours of sleep in a 24-hour cycle. You're asking us to work at least 8 hours. That's 16. And then there's 8 left. Well, what happens? Are we together in that 8? Kumbaya on it, right?
Right.
How am I getting better? The other thing is we have to see how we view certain things. For instance, the video game that we talked about. He been on the game 2 hours. That's therapeutic. He ain't
Yeah.
bothering nobody. He quiet. Maybe a few shouts and yells, whatever. But he's going. A lot of women don't know that these video games have levels,
Mm-hmm.
and he's trying to master and get through the level. Right?
Yep. Yep.
You on that game again? This is my 2 hours to do what I want to do with it, and I'm okay. I feel pretty good.
And he in the house. He ain't out ripping and running the streets or nothing. Let that
Uh,
man have his time. Like
I
yours.
don't see the point of the video game. The point of the video game is that it's therapeutic.
Yeah.
It's therapeutic. New thing I had to brace myself for. I saw this coming years ago. Was the whole marijuana piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when Joe used to come to church and he smelled like liquor, we always put our hands on Joe. Joe, he gonna be all right. He gonna work through this. We know he been drinking a little bit, but he quiet. He ain't bothering nobody. Well, now Joe coming in smelling like marijuana, and we were taught. It was a drug. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, we came up in that area.
Um, Joe, Joe, like I'm faithfully tithing. I fixed everything. I clinked all the pews, and Pastor, here go my card, my medical card. All right, you want me to come or not? Okay. I'm sorry, I smell like a plant, but a burnt plant. But man, listen, I'm here. I was glad when they said unto me, "Let us go to the house of the Lord." Right? You want him there or not? Okay. Because then, if he don't come, he ain't saved no more.
Oh God.
That's a whole nother discussion.
That's a whole nother podcast topic. With JD. We
Yeah.
can wrap it up here. That's a whole
Okay.
nother, but
Okay.
um but no, this was good. And so I just want to ask you guys and drop your comments. So if you are a man, I want to know, do you believe that therapy is still taboo for men today? Is it taboo for you? And or are we seeing the stigma break down?
Mm.
Share with us, share with us your experience in terms of therapy for your mental health.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And thank you guys. And until next episode with Mr. JD, I just love, I just want to tell you, I appreciate you so much. So, so, so much. Thank you so much. And don't
Uh,
forget to follow us, guys, on all platforms, TSW Network. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And to our next episode, be blessed and stay rooted.